The Monk's Secret to Wealth. Part 1. David sat on the edge of a rocky cliff, staring at the endless horizon. He had nothing left. His business had collapsed. His debts had piled up, and his self-doubt had become a cage. The city had chewed him up and spat him out. Now the only place left to go was a monastery in the mountains, where an old monk named Guru Prakash was known to guide lost souls. When David arrived, he expected chants, incense, and philosophy. Instead, Guru Prakash handed him a shovel. "Dig," the old man said, pointing at the dry, rocky soil. David frowned. "I came here for wisdom, not labor." Guru Prakash smiled. "Then why do you hesitate? Digging teaches patience, persistence, and the value of unseen effort." Reluctantly, David began digging. Every morning before sunrise, he worked the soil, sweating under the harsh sun. At night, he was exhausted. Weeks passed, and the hole deepened, but David saw no purpose in it. One evening, he confronted Guru Prakash. "I've been digging for weeks, and nothing has changed." The monk nodded. "Now, take this seed and plant it at the bottom." David, frustrated but obedient, planted the seed. Days turned into weeks, and a small sprout emerged. He tended to it daily, watering it, protecting it from wind and animals. One morning, he found Guru Prakash smiling beside the growing plant. "Do you understand now?" the monk asked. David shook his head. "It's just a plant." Guru Prakash chuckled. "That's how wealth works. The digging was your effort. The seed was your idea. The care you gave it was your consistency. In time, if you persist, what you plant will grow into something greater." David stared at the sprout, realization dawning. His failures weren't the problem. His lack of patience and discipline was. That night, he didn't sleep. He wrote down every mistake he had made in his business, every shortcut he had taken, every moment he had given up too soon. Then he made a new plan. This time, he would plant the right seeds with patience. As the dawn broke, he approached Guru Prakash. "I'm ready to learn," the monk smiled. "Then let's begin." David stood at the threshold of his biggest challenge yet. Months of discipline, rigorous training, and deep introspection had reshaped his mind. But now it was time to step into the world and apply what he had learned. His guru, the old monk, gave him one final lesson before he departed. "The world will not reward you for what you know, David," the monk said. "It will reward you for what you do with what you know. Wealth is not just about money. It is about control. Control over your mind, your emotions, and your time." David bowed deeply and left the monastery with only a few possessions and an unwavering determination. Stepping back into the city was overwhelming. The noise, the rush, the distractions, all were designed to pull him away from his purpose. He saw former classmates, some successful, some struggling, and old fears began creeping in. What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? But then he remembered his guru's words. Doubt is a thief. It robs you of your destiny before you even begin. Instead of succumbing to fear, David took the first step. He started small, freelance projects, consulting for struggling businesses, and learning everything he could about wealth building. The principles of persistence, faith, and specialized knowledge guided him. He studied markets, observed patterns, and applied the same discipline he had learned at the monastery. As he built his network, he encountered people who dismissed his journey. "You got lucky," they said when he landed his first major client. Right place, right time. David knew better. He had spent sleepless nights refining his skills, reaching out, learning, failing, and trying again. Luck favors those who prepare. One day, an opportunity arose. A struggling tech startup needed funding and leadership. Others hesitated, but David saw the potential. He invested not just his money, but his knowledge. Using the monk's teachings, he instilled discipline in the team, focused on value creation, and expanded their market reach. Within 2 years, The startup turned into a multi-million-dollar company. David had achieved financial success, but he felt something was missing. He returned to the monastery, seeking his guru. "You have done well," the monk said, smiling. "But tell me, what is wealth?" David thought for a moment before answering, "It's not just money. It's the ability to choose, the power to help others, the freedom to live with purpose." The monk nodded. "And that, my student, is the real secret. Money is a tool, but wealth is a mindset." David left the monastery once more, but this time not just as a man seeking riches. He had become a master of his own fate. David's journey proved that riches are not gained overnight. They come through discipline, action, and a relentless belief in oneself. Those who control their mind, emotions, and actions can shape their destiny. And so, with newfound wisdom and purpose, David set forth, not just to build wealth, but to help others do the same. What will you do with what you know?